We did it.
Oh my goodness. I got this. I'm not going to yawn a single time, but, you know. Promises were meant to break. Promises were meant to be broken. Hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hello, Cinema Peeps.
This is a special episode today.
Yeah, it's a very special episode.
Called We Wanted Time Off, so we recorded more to do more work.
We added more work because we wanted time off.
Yeah, because that makes sense, you know?
Right? It makes total sense.
Yeah, so today is special themed episode. I don't know what the title is, but we're gonna imagine it's here, and I know what it is, even though I have no idea. We're gonna talk about film school.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about like lessons we've learned, you know, and you know, the age-old question, is film school worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know, just our thoughts and stuff in general, I guess.
Yeah, of our experiences in film school.
Right. I mean, I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
And hope some of this advice you might find useful.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Gosh, I don't even know where to start. I was trying to think of some all week and they just weren't coming to me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like once we get into the groove of it, I'm sure I'll remember them all.
Let's start off with an easy question. I'll ask you, like, what was your favorite class that we took out of all the classes we took in school?
My most favoriteest class?
Yeah. It's hard. There were a few.
There was, yeah.
Because like each one of them had something different to bring, which made it enjoyable.
Right? Because I was going to say, I really enjoy, like I enjoyed it, but sometimes I didn't, was sound design class.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I liked learning
our teacher
about
scared
that.
Me.
He was a funny guy. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, he was a little intimidating, but I think that's also because I slept in during one of the final exams, and he got kind of mad at me. So...
Gee, I wonder. I'm just kidding.
I wonder, yeah.
Right? I wish, like, right, because I liked learning about, like, doing ADR and stuff like that. And we did our infamous, I guess they were kind of radio podcasts as one of our assignments we had to do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, I'm thinking of the different sound.
Oh, you're thinking of,
location audio.
Yeah, you're thinking of location
That's what
audio.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he was intimidating and scary. Yes, you were
right,
correct.
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay, yes.
That's why I was a little confused. I was like,
I forgot about that teacher. And then you started talking about the radio play. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was also a class. I forgot.
See, yes. That's the one.
Film school was a blur, people.
Yeah, some of it was just like but yeah, like I like doing the ADR stuff. I enjoyed doing the radio play. I just kind of wished, I think it was just more of his teaching style. He's like, just do it.
Yeah.
And for all of us who at that point we had mostly just worked with like Final Cut was really the only program we used up to that point.
Yeah.
And so for me, like using a new program, and I'm pretty sure we used maybe it was Adobe or some sort of sound design program. I thought it was
Pro
Adobe.
Tools or something like that. Yeah.
Pro Tools, yes. I found it very difficult because I was like, I don't know any of the basics of how to use this program. So by you just being like, just do it. I'm like, it's like, just experiment. I was like, but what do these knobs do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like he showed us that thing with like the sound wave graph where it was like, oh, if you do this, you can change the pitch like this or do this and flip. And I was like, what, calm down. What is happening?
Or like how to do the 3 beeps before you start recording and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like that, he was like, so yeah, there was like some stuff he was like, yeah, but then other times he's like, just do it. And I'm like,
just figure it out. Yeah.
You know, and anxiety kicks in. I'm like,
right. Well, I mean, like you're talking to film students, not audio engineering students. Right. So like, yeah.
That's where I feel maybe some of that happened. So I wish like I also wish we did like Foley. Because like outside of school, that's something I've really, if we have the opportunity to do that for some of our films, I enjoy adding those extra sound effects.
Totally.
They're so much fun to do.
Yeah.
I like watching videos on like Instagram or like on YouTube where you watch them like do it. And it's I don't know, it's so fascinating to me. It's just so cool. Because sometimes it's not objects you think would be used for the background noises and stuff. So
and it blows your mind when you hear it and you're like,
fuck yeah. But sorry, the question was favorite class.
I mean, even if you don't have a favorite, just listing off like the top ones that come to your head. I can tell you which one I didn't like, and that was that weird friggin', I can't remember the official title of it, but where it was all about like finances and like the legal stuff and everything.
Yar, that was a snoozer.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very important, but
probably very informative, and I'm sure our teacher was just very dry, and it was very hard to stay focused and learn, and
right. That was I didn't fall asleep all the time in that class because I was a good girl. Yep. I was a good girl. Shoot, I think we just talked this before. I can't even remember the class name anymore, but it was the one where we had to do, like, we learned a certain thing or an aspect about film, and we had to do, like, the small project that day, and then we had to do the bigger one the next time.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
That was
like testing that out. Although sometimes, because he even called us out for it eventually, that we were kind of like dragging our feet to get some of them done. But at that point, we had so many to do. Not for like his class, but I think our homework just started. Like, we had to do more and more for other classes. So I know for a lot of us, we're like, we're just going to film at the school. And he's like, no, you need to like have better locations and all this. And we're like, we don't have time. We're tired. Like, we don't. But like, I get it. At the same time, I was like, I'm really fucking tired.
Yeah.
I know a lot of our classmates had some really cool and creative ideas. So
totally.
I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because everyone's just felt different.
Yeah.
Even though we had to follow whatever guidelines it was that week's lesson, but like everyone came at it differently, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
As always, cinematography was always the most stressful for me, because I was just like, what are we doing here? I can't
that one we
kind
of got the shit end of the stick on, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I feel like that was probably one of the more important classes that we really needed like knowledge on.
I feel like too, like, to give the benefit of the doubt, like a couple of the assignments that or the lessons that he did teach us about, like, recreating the lighting and like paintings with like the set lights and stuff like that was cool, but it didn't really give us much to go off of for like how to light.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only thing I felt with that one. In a way, too, it almost kind of felt like he was like, oh, yeah, just figure it out kind of thing. But obviously, our teacher wasn't with us for a good chunk of the time because he was working on set on a movie. But, it would have been nice to, like, learn how to, like, set up a day for night shot, or how to set up certain styles, right?
Yeah.
And know how, like, we did the grid thing, obviously, like how you can like blinds with the light, like the shadow of blinds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
working with shadows and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I would agree. And again, I think we only got 2 classes for that.
Yeah.
And that's something I think I struggle with today. But luckily, thanks to YouTube.
Yep.
And I thank all those creative people who are like, hey, here's a tutorial of how I do it. I'm like, thank you.
Right?
Like, oh my goodness. And I mean, to be fair, I think I use YouTube way too much, to the point where I'm like, am I really a film person, or am I just going on YouTube to find all my answers?
Well, I think that's kind of the beauty of things now, like the beauty and the curse, not really a curse, but like, you know, the plus and the negative now is because it's so readily available to everybody. And I mean, people can literally use phones.
Yeah.
The quality's so good. So there's just so much more readily available to people with YouTube, and you can kind of teach that stuff, which is nice. You don't necessarily have to go to film school to do that, but yeah, I think we're like, well, I don't want to say we're not as, or we're more forgiving about like how we do things now. I don't know, there's not that set like cinematic look anymore. Like you can kind of still make a good video or a good movie or good film or whatever without really needing to worry too much about a bunch of crazy lights or it looking like really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I also feel it's like become more and more of a challenge. Like, oh yeah, I just shot this all on my phone with like one light, you know, and look at the quality of it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, especially in film school, I feel like sometimes we were focusing way too hard on like, oh, this has to look like
a film.
Yeah, like, oh, a serious film. And that's something I kind of wished I toned down a little bit. because like that, like the best part about being there was that it was a playground. Like we could do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish sometimes, you know, I wasn't as like, oh, it needs to look this way, when it's like, fuck it. Like we have access to tools right now. Like let's just fucking make whatever we want.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
And I think we've talked about it before on a previous episode, but that whole comparing yourself to other classmates and their stuff and going, oh, why doesn't mine look like that? And then, you know, there's that whole like wanting to kind of not like compete, but you want to get to that level yourself too, so that you can kind of like, you know, flex your skills and be able to prove to yourself even that you're like, wow, I did that kind of thing, right?
I was gonna say, what is your favorite projects we did in school?
Ooh.
I don't know if this was like my top favorite one, but I definitely enjoyed our color theory doc on the dance doc. Just
color theory class stressed me out a little bit, but it was cool getting to see like the types of like techniques we could do. Again, it's so weird because I feel like since we've been in film school, the process, I don't know how best to explain it, but it seems like the process has changed so much more rapidly. I mean, like the way programs are nowadays, there's so many more like plug and play options and stuff like that, whereas we kind of had to learn from scratch basically. So like, again, I wish we would have been able to kind of learn more color grading techniques that weren't so like exaggerated, I guess, because I know he was like, oh, if you want like a cooler tone, if you want like a warmer tone, here's what you can do to make like a sunset kind of thing. But again, like I think we were just on the verge of like where everything's kind of gradually become now with film and stuff like that, where we're focusing more on or at least the technology is so much better now and stuff. So
well, and that was one of the things we actually experienced while we were at school, right? Because we were using Final Cut for the longest time because that was what the standard was at the time. And I think literally our last couple months there, it was Adobe.
It became obsolete,
right? And they were like, nope, Adobe's now the new thing. And I just remember being like, all I know is Final Cut now. Like I felt like I was just like, not a master, but it's like I like understood everything. I had my system, like I was good. And then they were like, surprise, we don't use that anymore. Like the new upgrade of it is shit. We don't want to use it. It's now Adobe. And I just remember watching some of our other classmates trying to use this software and just them being like, oh, it crashed on me again. I have to restart my project. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm still grateful that one of our teachers was like, hey, listen, I'll at least sit you down. Like, I know it's kind of pointless to try to reteach a new program to you, but I will sit down and I'll at least kind of show you some stuff on here. So you're not completely blindsided, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think even now, like, I do use Premiere Pro now.
Yep.
I mean, I still wish it was Final Cut, but that's because I'm a stubborn person. But I think even now, I think they may have actually switched back to Final Cut at this point. I don't know. And
it's honestly, there's such a like competition between Final Cut Pro X, Adobe, and like DaVinci Resolve, and there's a couple other ones floating around there, but those are like the three big ones.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to use whatever you most feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because I think, same with cameras, right? Like there's always the newest, bestest camera always constantly coming out. But, there's a lesson I've learned. Here we go. So what I've learned is it really doesn't matter what you have. It's how you fucking use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I still use my same old Canon Rebel T3, and I'm sure that is so old at this point. Like ridiculously old. You know, but I'm finding new things to play with it with, and like now that I'm trying to do more things with lighting, like I'm like, oh hey, like this is like okay, cool. Like I kind of have a better understanding of how to use my own camera after many multiple years, you know?
Totally.
So like you don't need to buy the biggest, bestest thing right now. You just need to get what you can and utilize what you got.
Yeah. I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people, and I've caught myself doing that too sometimes, because you see with the way cameras are nowadays, and you just see different people using 4K, 8K, 6K, whatever's out there now, and just how good a quality everything is, and you get kind of almost like FOMO in a sense. You're like, oh, I want mine to look like that great too. And in the end, you know, yeah, it's more about story than it is about the look, right? It's what's that quote? It's not about the camera, it's about who's behind the lens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be, it's like, oh yeah, this new 8K camera is the newest thing, but then it's like, oh, 6 months it's obsolete because there's now another even better camera.
It's literally like the iPhones now. Yeah.
Right? And I mean, there's nothing wrong with like, I want to get the best thing I can get.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you do have to realize it's like, it's gonna be not out of stock, but yeah, there's gonna be something that's gonna come out that's even better. So
yeah, and it's about what you need it for, not because it's a newer camera.
Exactly. And I think that's why I haven't chose to invest in a better camera just yet, because I still like it. It does what I need it to do, you know. Old faithful. I mean, eventually I should probably upgrade it, but at this point in my life, it does what I need it to do.
Yeah, you don't need all the fancy bells and whistles and
that's
stuff.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah. And I think it was cool too, even like in school when we started film school, we were using like the big handheld. It only had like the TW button for the zoom. Like we didn't have manual zoom on it or manual focus or whatever. Like it was all just this kind of, what was it? Was it a Panasonic?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the big like handheld camera, and then in like the later quarters we ended up getting upgraded to the DSLRs, which was cool.
Yeah. And, we became bougie fucks. We're like, we only want to take out these cameras, okay?
I just remember everybody wanted, if it wasn't the macro lens, it was the Steadicam. And that's one thing I wish we would have gotten the chance to learn how to do. And I know, like, you know, it was kind of unfair, but I get it too. Like, obviously so many people wanted to get the chance to use it, but, you know, there was only so much time because it took a lot of time to, you know, configure the whole thing. But I wish that we would have gotten the chance to learn how to use it too, because yeah, it would have been awesome.
Right. I think that was another struggle in film school, I think, or at least the way our program was set up. I shouldn't speak about all film schools like that, but yeah, I think one of the biggest problems that I feel like we started running into was that if you didn't pick your own lane, I feel like we all kind of put ourselves into different like roles.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I mean by lanes. So then what's hard if somebody was like, I kind of want to try this. And then they're like, and people are like, well, I could, but this person, like, you're not the cinematography or you're not the editor.
Yeah.
Which drove me kind of nuts because I feel like we got not shafted, but I feel like it was always like, oh, well, we want to go with like this other person. And it's like, there's like two badass ladies right here who love to do this.
Right.
How about you let us do it? You know?
Yeah.
But like, I get it, because like, I think at that point we're just like, we want to make the bestest project, the bestest project we can make, you know. So we want to go with these people who are like, oh yeah, like this is what I want to do, or blah blah blah. And they're like, yeah, I want to go with that, instead of like remembering that we all wanted a chance.
Yeah.
To try other roles and to do stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I'm glad our teachers, at least for the most part, tried to instill that a lot in our classes when it started to get kind of like picking favorites sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, some people were able to weasel their way around it, but, you know, still, it's nice that our teachers, for the most part, were like, no, like, make sure we give everybody a chance. That's what we're here for. Let's do that, right? And I feel like even, too, like, for you, I know there was a couple times, and myself, I guess, too, but your experiences kind of stuck out in my mind for, like, people you picked for your short film Maggie, and
classic, everyone.
Yeah, and even the music video you did, just like you picked people that you maybe weren't, you know, you didn't know very well, or you knew them in class, but you didn't work with them a lot, and you got to work with them and they pleasantly surprised you.
Yeah, because everyone should get that chance.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's a big thing, I mean, part of the film industry, right, is that sometimes you make your shot because somebody gave you a chance. It's like, oh, totally. Because you worked with someone and you left a good enough impression. They're like, oh, yeah, we want to take you back.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Another life lesson.
Yeah.
Ooh. Not really a film school life lesson, but a very important one that I'm still trying to learn now is knowing my own value as a, like, I was gonna say underground film person, but like as a like starting, Yeah, is knowing my value.
Yeah.
Because I know all the time I underplay myself. No, I always underplay myself. That's the problem. I always underplay myself. And I think, and again, I feel like I can say it, but I need to more be proactive in doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas like when people, it's like, oh, like, words are hard. There's those memes you always see where it's like, oh, can you edit this for free? Or like, it should only take you like 5 minutes to do this. It's like, no, there's like a long ass process to do. You don't just like give me 10 hours of footage and go like, you can get this done tonight, right? It's like, no.
Yeah.
You know, so just knowing like your value, what you're worth, because at the end of the day, and again, my situation might be different from other people, but like I still kind of do this part-time. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this on whatever free time I have on top of working other jobs.
Right.
So I have to remind myself that like, and the lie I always tell myself is that like, oh, well, I'm not really a professional. So like, I don't feel like I can charge people a lot of money for my services. But at the end of the day, like if I'm providing somebody a service and it's taking time out of my life, then I am worth that. You know? Yeah. Like, I get 100%. That, like, I can't charge $10 million for a cut of a film. Like, that, you know? Yeah. But if I'm taking fucking time out of my life, like, I think the other person should be able to honor that and be like, hey, this is what I think I'm worth. You know? Yeah. And in the day, if you don't like it, move along then. Or do it yourself. If you think you can do it yourself with YouTube, enjoy.
Have fun. No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think that's important, is knowing your own value, because it is a weird industry we work in, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, but you do have to pave your own way. There's no guidebook, you know, with YouTube tries, and most people they're really helpful. They give you the best advice they can give from their experiences that they've had, and YouTube tries to kind of tell you this is the way to succeed in this business and stuff like that, but you really have to pave your own way. You have to be brave enough to kind of figure your own stuff out and not enjoy the journey, they say. Don't be so hell-bent on getting to the end and getting to that success, because once you get there, there's always something on the other side that, you know, you'll want to get to even more, right? So, yeah, I think that's definitely a big life lesson for sure.
Something more lighthearted. Took some serious time, but I was just thinking of all the times we would pull overnighters.
Oh, God.
Man, some of them were like real fun. Other times I just wanted to die.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, just take me, throw me in the sea. It's fine.
Right? I still remember the first ever all-nighter I pulled was, it was for like the first short film we ever did. I think it was for our video production class, like Paul's class.
Okay.
And it was Occam's Mirror.
Oh, classic.
That we had to do. Already a stressful short film, just because people, like, things, like, ideas were clashing, people were not agreeing on things. It was very opposing sides. There was a lot of mixed reviews. We had a few good arguments that needed to be resolved. But then when we finally, you know, ended up wrapping everything, I can't, why did I have to stay? Oh yeah, because I was trying to remember. We pulled an all-nighter in the soundstage, because we were doing the scenes in the soundstage, and I believe I had to stay for the footage to be uploaded, because we were still using the big cameras. Something tells me that was the case. That, or like because we were using a doorway dolly and the equipment room was closed, I had to wait with it until the next day. I can't remember why.
Damn.
But for some reason, I got voted to be the one to stay overnight. Yeah.
You're not doing anything, Kendra. You can just sit here all night, right?
But luckily, one of our friends was nice enough to stay with me. He was one of our actors in the short film too, so he was nice enough to stay over with me, which was good. It kept me company. But yeah, that was the first all-nighter I had to pull, and it was rough.
I think the first one I did was at the school. I can't remember if it was for the Russian or the Soviet montage film.
Oh, yeah.
Or the other one we did for that class, which I've already forgot. No, I think it was a Soviet montage. I think it was.
Not the Chaplin short?
No, definitely not the Chaplin short. I think it was for Soviet montage because it was me, you, and then I think there was a couple other people just hanging out at the school, coincidentally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that was it. We should have done an all-nighter. That was what I was thinking, because I think we left the school at like 2 or 3 in the morning, but transit was not functioning.
Oh, yes.
So we walked back to our apartments, which at the time seemed like a great idea. Like, it didn't seem it was like that long of a walk, but I'm pretty sure it was still an hour walk.
Yeah, it was a bit of a walk.
I blacked out a lot of that. And I'm pretty sure we rolled up at our apartment buildings at like 5 or 6 just to roll into bed 2 hours later. I was like, shit, I should have just stayed at the school. I could have found something to do.
Right.
And then we were almost late. After all that work, I think we were almost late, but barely made it.
I remember the one all-nighter we pulled in sound design.
Oh, that was one of my favorites.
And because we had to hide from the security guard too, because if he saw us sleeping, he was gonna kick us out. Mm-hmm. So like, you for the most part I think stayed awake. Mm-hmm. But me and our friend, we basically like built like a barricade of chairs and would lay on the chairs so that like it was facing away from the window and he couldn't see us. I think at one point one of us slept under the desk, I think, too.
Yep. Yeah. And luckily, the window was angled from the classroom, so he never really came in. He just kind of looked in, saw me, and then just moved along.
Yeah.
That's funny, because I think I stayed up, was it to finish sound design? Because I know I eventually just started editing a different project, and that's what I spent my time doing the entire time.
Yeah.
And then we had class in there, so we were like, well, we're already here. This works out. Good.
Yeah.
I just remember we went out to the Mac store or whatever it was, and we bought the first Essentials of Life.
Essentials of Life. Oh, yes.
I think I looked at that photo a couple weeks ago. It was on the calendar you made me. And some of that stuff on there, I was like, I don't remember. I remember we did the lemonade, the blue raspberry lemonades.
Yep.
There was sour cream and onion chips. Yeah. There was the Reese Pieces.
Yeah. Some Kinder Surprises.
Kinder Surprise bars, because that's the best shit. And then I noticed there was there was a pack of gum, and I don't think we've ever done that ever again. And then like the Jones soda, or the Jones like candies.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
but I feel like whatever. I think what sticked out after that was the chips, Reese Pieces, and the drinks, because that's all we got. We always got the drinks. We're like, this is the essentials, baby. This is all we need.
Essentials of life. Yeah, it's funny too. Like, I mean, it wasn't that much of a progress, but I feel like at least in the later quarters we started to like kind of up our game with like the food we'd bring. And I mean, obviously we had to feed more people like on set and stuff like that, so crafty kind of became a big thing. But we definitely like at one point for one of our short films, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of like always getting like a veggie tray or just like a box of granola bars. I'm gonna make everybody a home cooked meal.
Oh yeah. I don't think I was there that day.
No, you weren't?
I don't think I was.
At Chris's place?
Even more sad. No, maybe I was. Okay. Maybe there was a different time you brought soup to set, I think, and I don't think I was there.
Oh, maybe did I? Yeah, no, I brought chicken soup in a thermos for when we were filming out in the rain to keep everybody warm. Mm-hmm. But no, there was when we were filming indoors. Actually, there was 2 things. I brought a big giant pizza one time for everybody, and then the second time I was like, I'm just gonna cook a home cooked meal for everybody.
And I'm sure everybody appreciated it because we're like, yes.
Oh my god, everybody loved it. They were like, this is the best. I had to like share recipes with all the moms who brought like the kids to set. All our kid actors.
Oh my god, can I get that recipe?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I think one time I treated everyone to Boston Pizza. I was like, fuck it. It was a long day, people. Let's go. My treat.
Yep, those were always fun.
God, so many good times.
Right? So I guess on to another question.
Ooh.
Is, I know we've kind of done like life lessons or lessons we've learned from school, but was there any in particular from any specific teacher that we had that kind of stuck out to you? Or was there like any teacher that like was your favorite and kind of stuck out to you because of what they did?
Oh. Easily John.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Kindest man. So
our
funny.
Lord and Savior.
Right? Lord and Savior. Like the best.
Totally.
He always, what's the word? I don't know if there's a word for it, but he was just like, he was always in our corner.
Oh, yeah.
And because I feel like at some point, like, teachers are just like, can you just get the assignment done and just, like, hand it in? I just need to fucking grade it. Like, let's move along kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like John just always wanted the best from us and always encouraged that. And I had for one of our production classes, we had to technically film within the span of that class. And then in our next class, or our next quarter, because they were broken up into quarters. It's a little confusing. Basically, our like next semester, we had to do all the editing in the next class of his, and that's all we had to do. So we technically had to get all our filming for our big short film in the first production class, and I had secured a location, but then it dropped last minute, and I was like, and he was like, listen, like, you can come film at my house, and he bought us food and fed us and let us film.
Yep.
And yeah, he even was like, listen, like, don't, like, worry about it. Like, I'll give you an extension into the next quarter so you can get this all done.
Yes.
The only exception was I had to get it done, like, that first week we were back, but I was like, that's cool. Like, over the moon, thank you. So, like, yeah, like, just his kindness. And I think one of the things I remember him saying slightly early on, or kind of like middle way, when we were starting to like really get into like, we wanted to do projects all the time, even on our spare time we didn't have it. And I remember he was like, hey, like, you know, allow yourself to breathe. Like, I think it was like one of the second Christmases or whatever, he was like, hey, like, you know, like, take this time, like, de-stress. He's like, I don't want you working on anything. Like, yes, you're allowed to watch movies, but I don't want you to do anything. I want you to just relax and live your life. You know? Because that's like such an important thing to do, and that's how you create good stories, is being able to live your life and bring those experiences you have to make films. And it's funny to me now because I'll watch like stuff on Disney Plus on like the documentaries and blah blah blah, and so many of them talk about like how they brought their real life experiences to these characters, and that's how you relate to them and make it feel so real.
Totally.
And yeah, I don't know, that's always stuck out to me, and that's what I usually try to do and remind myself, like, hey, like, I need to take a break, I need to live my life and do activities and do things so that I can bring those experiences back to what I am creating creatively.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So yeah, easy. What about you? I feel like I was just a chatterbox.
No, honestly. For sure, John, definitely. I liked Rob too. Like, I feel like all of our teachers brought something different.
Yeah.
But the John and Rob, I think, stood out the most to us, because he too was like somebody who I felt like was always in our corner, at least for the most part. He could kind of, I think he could kind of identify your strengths really well, even if you couldn't yourself. And he was good at pulling you aside and just kind of going, hey, like, what's up? Let's work with you. Like, what can we do? And I always loved when we'd have our, like, because he was our editing teacher. So when we'd kind of be working on a rough cut and he'd kind of come over and just like pull up a chair and be like, so like, he just like wouldn't really say much, but he'd kind of just like slink in the background and like kind of watch what we're doing. And then we'd kind of notice he was there, and he's like, oh, that's pretty good. But you know what? You know what would make it look really cool? If you're open to the idea. And he'd kind of like show you a couple of tips and stuff like that. And you were like, whoa, like, yeah, that's perfect. Like, oh my God. So I always liked when he'd do that. And it was always just fun, like, watching him watch our stuff too. Yeah. Because, you know, if you made him laugh, it was like, yes.
Right. He always gave big reactions to stuff. So it was always fun watching him just like watch the gears turn, and then they'd be like, haha, and you're like, yes, did it.
Totally, yeah. And like even Paul too, he was wacky. And and like just having him for the video production class, and then for like working with actors and stuff like that, it was awesome just having like his personality there to kind of like really pull those things out of us and just get us really active in doing certain things.
Yeah, I definitely found working with actors very helpful. Yeah. To understand like how that process sometimes goes in like the actors' minds, I guess. And working with actors better.
Like, yeah, literally all of our teachers. Like, I like Anthony too. Like, he was really good for our. Is it EVC, AVC? I can't remember the class.
Maybe that was the class we had. Right? We can never remember.
Yeah.
Getting old. He always, like, every time we produce new episodes of this podcast, he's always liking and, like,
yeah, thanks,
any
Anthony.
projects we do, like, he's still like, hey, I'm glad you girls are doing it. I'm like,
right?
Thank you. So I guess the big question, I don't know, maybe it was the main question you guys came here for, is film school worth it? And surprise, we are going to cop out like little bitches. The long explanation is, I think you have to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
I found film school very useful because I don't mean to brag or anything, but when I was starting out and doing my own short films, I was already subconsciously doing things that I didn't realize like had a bigger meaning in film. So I found it very useful to go and realize the things I was doing and realizing how pieces fit together.
Totally.
What's my thought? For example, like when I remember when I was doing my own like home movies, like I always started with a wide shot, and subconsciously, like you learn more, like, oh, a wide shot is an establishing shot. It teaches the audience like what's happening, where is it going, you know?
Yeah.
So there was weird things I was already doing subconsciously. I just didn't understand what they meant and how to apply them. So that's where I found it very useful. I know this sounds shocking. I'm not a very good social person, so I found it also very useful to be around people who, like, this is what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know? Whether they still keep up with it today, like, doesn't matter to me, because I made friends.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, I guess you could argue the social connections and blah, blah, blah. Which I think is fair, but I don't think you also need to spend the money to do that. But, you know.
Right? I feel like if you have the money to do it, it's worth it for sure. Unless you like, I mean, because like with us too, we did the student residence and stuff like that. There's other ways around it and things like whatever works best for you financially as far as it goes.
Yeah.
But I always say, and if anybody asks me, I say, do your research on what's out there. Go visit them. Do the the walkthrough and stuff like that, where you can kind of visit and see. But for me personally, I felt like kind of an outsider in my group of friends in high school and stuff like that. You know, we all got along, but I don't think anybody really truly understood why I was the way I was and why I did the things I did, like as hobbies and stuff like that. And so to be able to come to a place with other like-minded people really was just a game changer for me. Like everybody I know was like, wow, like you're just like thriving out here, like you found your people kind of thing, right? And it was really nice to like meet and literally you and I would have never met if it wasn't for film school. Heck yeah.
Right.
And then even just on the lesson side, like, you know, the film appreciation and film history really changed my life as far as just like having a deeper appreciation for story and, like you said, shot selections, like just understanding why people do wide shots, you know, why certain actors are framed different ways. It's not just, oh, this looks cool, like, you know, there's a meaning behind why he's framed in between like jail cell type things, or, you know, like, or like there's a shot from Fargo where William H. Macy, he's sitting in his office, but it's filmed through the blinds, and it's supposed to be kind of like he's encapsulated, he's trapped, he can't go anywhere, he's being confronted, right? And so learning those things really like just kind of turned a light bulb on for me, and I was like, oh my god, like, wow, that makes so much sense. So I feel like, I don't know, from what I've seen out there nowadays, I feel like maybe that aspect is lacking in video production. There are people who know it and either pick up on it or do like the film study and film appreciation where they can kind of figure that out, but I feel like more people, I don't know, I'd encourage more people to do like film appreciation and film theory and stuff like that, just to get a better understanding and maybe help improve their storytelling skills. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer of going to film school. But the short, well, not the short answer, but like on the other end of the scale is YouTube is readily available for everybody. And if you don't have the, you know, financial means, and, you know, if you have the ability to, or the confidence to go out and kind of like meet people on your own over the internet, that's a big thing nowadays, and learn stuff through YouTube, it's easy and readily available, right? Yeah,
it's whatever you think is going to be a better fit for yourself.
Yep.
Right. Although, speaking on like finding like-minded people, like that like that was like very incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially just because I feel like high school, you're just trying to survive. You're just trying to, like, your focus is like, I just need my 5 credits in math, my 3 credits in art, whatever. Like, I need to get this done.
Yeah.
So it, from an educational standpoint and just like, yeah, like you said, like environment, being around like-minded people, it felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
To, you know, find something that I was like, and I get to study about it, something I'm passionate about, like it just it made a world of difference.
Yeah, like it was just crazy to be able to meet people who were just as excited as I was about an idea for a film, or like, you know, me, like like, you know, God love my sister, God bless her, she was such a saint. For all the years I would force her to like act in my short films and all the music videos I did. She enjoyed doing most of it, but there were times where she was like, oh God, like can I do anything else? So it was nice being around people who were like, yeah, what do you need me to do? Okay, I'll do it. Like so yeah,
her and a bottle of rum.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, we could literally talk for hours about our film school experience and things. So, but I guess this is pretty good for, you know, what we kind of wanted to cover today, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, any final thoughts?
Yeah, sky is the limit, you know. And again, something I try not to do, but I always do, is I limit my creativity. So I think if anything, just don't limit your creativity. And I guess just try, because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, still things I'm working on myself. So
yep.
Surprisingly, I think that's a thing. You're just gonna always constantly be learning, and to be open to learning, and yeah.
Yep.
Thumbs up.
Heck yeah.
You?
Yeah, I would agree. I think keep doing it, even if, you know, it doesn't make you money right away. And if you love it enough, just keep doing it, because, you know, practice makes perfect, and it opens up all kinds of avenues for you. You just have to be open to it, right?
But am I supposed to get rich?
I mean,
no, damn! I said I wasn't gonna yawn. Oh, excuse me, I'll burp though. Whew.
Oh, there you go. Yep,
nailed it.
But yeah, if you guys like this episode, comment below, give us a like. If you want to hear more fun film school memories, or if you have any questions for us regarding film school, we'd love to, you know, answer them, or see what you know, have to ask. And I think that's it for this episode.
Fuck yeah.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, hope you guys have a happy Tuesday. Watch all the content.
Hope this gave you something to think about.
Yeah, and we hope you enjoyed this little special episode. We'll have another one coming out really soon too, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh, yeah.
And yeah, have a good rest of your week, guys.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey and...